Touchdown Tampa Bay. You're listening to the PewterCast.
Welcome to the PewterCast Live. My name is Brent Allen. I am one of your hosts, joined as always by my good friend Ren, the oh-so-frustrated one, Daxed.
I'm better now.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Well, yes, I'm much better. And we'll talk about last time we talked at halftime where I was livid.
You were lit.
Yeah, I was.
And I don't mean high. I mean you were
I was really
livid.
mad. I could not believe what I was seeing.
You along with everybody else out there in Bucs Nation, for sure. For sure. Well, guys, welcome to the original post-game call-in show here for Buccaneers fans by Buccaneers fans. And we are here. When we always say, this used to be what we call, well, we don't always say this. Let me say this.
Okay.
We used to call this show the Instant Cast. Some
did.
people called it the Instacast. I called it the Instant Cast. Whatever.
I was an
here at the
Insta
PewterCast.
guy.
You were an Insta.
I still don't know if PewterCast is spelled with a capital C.
It is.
So
With
it's
no space in between.
So it's PewterCast, one word, but a capital C.
That's right. And
Okay.
a capital P. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Technically.
Yes. Badoy.
Right. So, but anyway, we've evolved a bit, Ren. We've come up in the world. There's been some changes here over the off season. Some that we instituted towards the end of last season. Some we've worked on a little bit here over the off season. And so the Instant Cast, we've changed the name. It's now just the PewterCast Live. We are broadcasting as we have for the last couple of years at YouTube.
I appreciate the vote and the rebranding. So thank you.
There
Yes.
you go. We have broadcasting live at youtube.com/thepewtercast. You guys go over there, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified every single time we go live. Also, though, Ren, we are simulcasting to Facebook. So we are at both YouTube and Facebook. So you guys can check us out if you guys are over at facebook.com as well, too. You also, oh my gosh, Craig in Vegas has gotten in me. Also, we have a brand new website that's up, Ren.
We do.
We do. A brand new website. And you
Made it
guys, if you
slick.
want to go there and watch us over there, you could do that. It's thepewtercast.live. We'll get you in whenever we go live. That'll be streaming there. So you guys can check out any of those platforms, whichever one works best for you and your situation. And we're here to talk about the game. Now, Ren, here's the part we always say. This is our reactions to the game.
Right.
We haven't thought about it. We haven't calmed down. This is where we are coming off the game, right?
Correct. Yes.
We'll digest it and we'll have the logical conversation later.
Right.
But right now, for you, for me, and for all our other fellow fans out there that are joining us live at YouTube, Facebook, and over at the PewterCast.live, you guys, we're gonna get to talk about exactly how we're feeling, the thoughts that have come to us during this particular game, and I'm sure there's a lot. We will open up phone lines. Also, you guys will be able to join us in the video chat here with Ren and I, and we'll be able to bring you in. Ren, before we get to all of that, though, just a little bit of business to take care of.
Sure.
I can't say our good friends, but
Our
I've
best
never
buddies?
actually personally met them, but I'm going to say our best friends in the world. We're besties.
If we
Over
were
at-
going to be friends with a website.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Our good friends over at mybookie.ag or .com, whichever one, they both go to the same spot. They are doubling your first deposit. You guys go over there, you sign up for an account with mybookie.ag. They will double your first deposit when you use the code OVERTIME, which is the network that we here at the PewterCast are a part of. When you use the code OVERTIME, they will double your first deposit. You can use that for prop bets, for any other gambling term that I'm not aware of, because I'm not a huge gambler. And I tried to get in and do it, but my kids blocked me, and I had to take care of them. And then we got in the game, and I didn't think about it. But pretty sure I'm going to do it next week. But listen,
So
you guys
your
go over there
kids
and do
saved
that.
you some money.
It could save you some money. You could get some.
No,
extra-
your kids
Oh,
saved you some money because you would have bet on the Bucs.
I would have bet on the Bucs. That's
Right.
right. Absolutely, I would have. Next week's probably a really good week to bet on the Bucs, though. We'll get into that a little bit later. Promo code OVERTIME, double your first deposit. You deposit $500, they'll give you another $500. You got $1,000. You do $50, they'll give you another $50. You got $100. And that's not all. If you guys take a screenshot after using that promo code, email it over to us at overtime@advertisecast. That's advertisecast.com, and you'll be entered in to win $500 cash. That's not back into your MyBookie deposit. It's $500 cash straight to you. So 2 things you guys can do. That is MyBookie. Ren, let's get back to talking about the Bucs.
Okay, I am ready.
Buccaneers drop their season opener. I don't know the last time I remember the Buccaneers dropping a season opener. I feel like we usually win this one. Is that true?
I don't.
You're the
have
memory
the
guy
official.
here. Is that?
Yeah. I'm a 76er. That's what I've started calling myself. I'm an original. I'm
Right.
a creamsicle. So the Bucs dropping a home opener is not
new.
any. Yeah, it is not new. Now we've had a little nice run here lately. Oddly enough, against the Saints, just a few years ago. And did we win the opener? No, we lost the opener last year against San Francisco. So there you go. Streak. The streak's up to 2.
Streaks up to 2. Oh my gosh.
But oddly enough, the Saints don't win a lot of openers. Sean Payton had lost 5 in a row till last year. And so I guess that's a silver lining. It's not the end of the world, but
maybe it bodes well.
But this was a tough matchup. We were all excited about, and rightfully so, about all Brady being here and the matchups the Saints were going to have to come up with, and the defense, young and up and coming and smothering run game, and for most part, all of that showed
At some point.
At some point,
I
there
can't
were
say it showed for the whole game.
No.
I will say there were times it definitely showed up. You're like, oh, hey, there's that.
Yeah. So, but what also showed, what felt very comfy, was the ridiculous, stupid penalties, and the Bucs beating Bucs, and the basic things where you have 6 weeks to be able to block a field goal extra point. And the first one, it was like they didn't even try. All they did was slant the left side of their line towards the center, and it was a jailbreak. Tristan Wirfs was trying to hold 3 guys back. So those little things like that, and then Jesus, the onside kick pooch thing.
Oh my gosh!
Absolutely ridiculous. Just so dumb. And you're going to hear from the coach oh, we'll button those things up. Well, you've had 6 weeks. I mean, these aren't.
Was that the one where Mike Edwards was backpedaling and collided with
Mickens?
Not Wilkins. Mickens, thank you.
Yeah.
That was one. Oh no, because I listened to a smidge of BA's press conference. He is not going to go easy on Mike Edwards this week. He's he said his words were, you learn not to do that in high school.
Which
I don't know what he was thinking there. You don't do that in high school.
Mike Evans and then holds the safety on a screen pass. That's what I didn't get. Mike Evans is running down and he's selling his route, right? What they did, they come out the second half, airball ones to Ronald Jones. They do the same exact play. Mike Evans is driving hard down the field to sell the pass, so behind him the screen pass is open. But he knows that his job is to pick up the safety.
Right.
And he doesn't break off his sell early enough, and he just grabs him. And it's okay, look, I know you're trying to do the sell, but the safety's not cooperating with you. He's crashing. Right. So your job is to block him. Break off your sell, trying to show everybody how deep, how hard you're going to go doing a 9 route, and just make the block. And then the next play, I know they call on Donovan Smith, but Chris Godwin jumped from the slot coming down in motion, and it was just you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It was, and then of course we can go back to that pooch kick on the kickoff, which was dumber than dumb. And before that, and first off, the Bucs didn't challenge that if the running back caught the ball and Devon White recovered it. Okay. Then they had the quote-unquote face mask on Carlton Davis, and I haven't seen it yet. I think he went high with his hand. Right now, I kind of think he got him up on the shoulder, which gave them the 15 yards to be able to pooch that, to be able to get the ball and ice the game.
Yeah,
those were 2 plays that it reminded me of Tony Dungy, where he was just oh, okay, Whatever the rest said, it was like, oh, he wouldn't get mad, and he just okay, we're gonna be the stiff upper lip and power through, and it's just like Sean Payton was up by 3 scores, and he challenged a catch by O.J. Howard across the middle, 80 yards away from the end zone, with 5 minutes to play in the game. Right. He challenged that, but we can't challenge the Devon White possible catch fumble recovery to not get them in the end zone. They're inside the 10.
Right.
So. Those things were very frustrating, but there were also a lot of positives.
Sure, and we can definitely go through that. My word for this game is disappointing. Now, Ren, I heard you say before going into this game that you actually predicted the Bucs to lose. You thought the Saints were a much more put together team, and turns out you were right. You and Evan, our friend Evan over at the North and South podcast, you guys both said that. I don't know. I'm kind of like old school. I tend to pick the Bucs every week, unless it's just going to be clear, and I don't think that's going to be clear. So I'm going to usually pick the Bucs every week, which is why, as you said earlier, my kids probably save me some money this particular week, right? But it's just disappointing, because I know for me anyway, I went into this game with a bit of trepidation, right? But also really excited. Inside, I was still like, "This is gonna be great."
And after that first drive, I was tearing up. Seriously, I was my heart was so full, and I'm tearing. I'm like, there it is. No penalties, just grinded, just down the field, good decision making. Guys are open. It's just
you got a quarterback that's gonna stick his nose. Right.
Ho hum, ho hum.
It's gonna let him do it.
Ho hum, here we go. We're just going to march down the field and get, stay in front of the chains and not do anything dumb. And, look, we're leading 7-0. I was like, there it is. I've been waiting for that since 2004.
Uh-huh. And
it didn't last.
Then the wheels came off. And it just disappointed. I think this whole thing has just been disappointing. Now, Ren, we are not here by ourselves tonight. As always, with these post-game shows, with PewterCast Lives, with Instant Cast, whatever we want to call it, we have a lot of people who are joining us.
4,400.
Yes, I like it. We've got a lot of people joining us over youtube.com/thepewtercast. We got people joining us over at facebook.com/thepewtercast. We got people joining us at thepewtercast.live. So I want to say hello to everybody who is over there in the chat room. You guys are tearing it up. And also, guess what? This is a show where it's not just about Ren and I talking. This is a show about all of us getting to talk together. So I am going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. If anybody wants to call in, that number is 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. You guys call in, interrupt us. We will talk about whatever you want to talk about. And for those of you in the chat room, I am going to drop in the link. You guys can join us here in the video chat if you so desire and would like to do that. We would love to have you joining us over there. Ren, I would like to hear from you first. Well, actually, I think we're going to hear from one of our friends here first who is calling in. Let's find out who we got on the line here with us. You're on with Brent and Ren for PewterCast Live. Who do we got here tonight?
Chef Aaron, boys.
Chef Aaron, what's going on, buddy?
To say I'm pissed would be an understatement, but I'm trying to keep my emotions in check.
All right. Well, let's help you out a little bit. What did you like?
The defense for most of it. Obviously, a few penalties that were very poor. And Jamel Dean, I don't know what the hell he was thinking or what was going through his mind when he basically let Cook have that huge 46-yard catch. And Levante David and Devon White show that, in my opinion, and I'm pretty sure a lot of others will agree, are the best linebacking duo in the NFL. And definitely need to start working on our pass rush some more because, my goodness, I don't even think that Drew Brees was even think he got hit once, maybe twice, and that was it.
They did pull up a sack, but, as what will be said many times, every time you talk about Drew Brees, about how fast he gets the ball, I thought the pressure was okay. And I think the defense, especially when you look at the final score, is going to get a raw deal. But the offense, including the kicking game, put the defense in some tough spots early on for a while. And then once they quit doing that, the defense really sort of showed their teeth through that third quarter. I mean, the Saints had less than, even with a blocked field goal, an interception on our own end of the field, and a pick six. By the end of the third quarter, before that Cook catch, which I agree, like, he just fell asleep. Like, Troy even called it perfectly. Like, Dean, he just fell asleep. He just, like, he was watching Drew Brees play football, and he threw it over his head. And by the time he realized, okay. But the Saints hadn't gained 200 yards yet. And they had 24 points on the board. So I thought the defense played really well. I don't think there was I don't have a disappointment on the defense. Like, I could say the run game, but I don't know what the yardage was, but it wasn't bad. Like, they never got gashed in the run game. I don't think anyone ever carried for more. I think the longest run was probably 9 yards.
They got 82 yards rushing tonight.
Total?
34 attempts.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
That's a 2.4 yard per carry average.
Yeah, and I think all the question marks that we had, like, I didn't see Anthony Nelson out there at all. But, as far as the linebackers, like you talked about White and David, they both had double-digit tackles. Winfield. I'm gonna say Whitfield all year long. Winfield almost had a pick. He seemed to be in the where he was supposed to be. Drew Brees was supposed to pick on him. I don't know if they didn't or he couldn't because he was playing so well. Sean Murphy-Bunting played well, tackled very well. And I'll tell you what, man, Carlton Davis shut down Thomas. He did. He was all over him, followed him around, and shut him down. So those are all, like, I don't really have anything to point at defensively. Yeah, we'll see. It's a different year. Yeah.
Why is our special team such a clusterfuck?
They don't. You know what? I was thinking about this honestly, and it's gonna sort of sound like, oh yeah, now you say it. But I was thinking this week coming up, all the training camps I've been to, and how I think it was after the Chiefs game, and sort of seeing how special teams played a role in that, about how few actual special teams plays they run. Like, there's a kicking period, like every practice, but it's just the snapper with nobody in front of him. It's just a snapper, it's just a guy out there kicking. The only difference, instead of off a tee, they're making the snap, but there's no pressure, there's no protection, there's nothing. But as far as, like, actually doing punt coverage or actually physically kicking the ball on a kickoff and hitting people, or actually seeing, like, an onside kick drill, I don't even remember ever seeing one. Like, when the Bucs tried their onside kick, it was a great kick. There wasn't somebody within 7 yards of the guy. Like, the Saints just stood him up at the blue line in hockey. You didn't even let him through. And he was just, like, making a fair catch. But it was a really good kick as far as what you're looking for an onside kick. So I was thinking about that before. Keith Armstrong, we're going to be aggressive. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. Well, what you need to be is fundamentally sound. And you weren't last year. And so far, you aren't this year. So, yeah.
Fundamentally sound, and actually the blocking, it seems like the blocking teams on what they do on special teams is just horse shit. I mean, it seems like the Saints can get all the holes they want on the return schemes, but for us, we can't even get a yard or whatever on a return because the Saints defenders are right there. It's like, what's the problem with the blocking? I swear to God, this is even on the run plays and all that stuff. The Saints were getting like maybe 4 yards per carry or whatever, and us, we were seeing the same thing with Ronald Jones' rookie season where he was getting hit at the line of scrimmage. It's like, I don't understand why the blocking on this team is so shit. Like, it's like an exorcism needs to happen.
Our gunners on the punt, I guess when we were returning punts, was not good today. I thought that Pinion did a good job of sort of taking away their punt returner until the one time he was backed up and he boomed it. But that guy's got some magic. I think he's a very good punt. We're like, what do you know? The Saints found one guy and all he has to do is return punts and he's really good at it. Hey, the Saints are good at special teams. I thought their punter really kept Mickens out of it, although I thought there was one or two that he could have tried not to fair catch. And the one that he did not fair catch, I thought was probably one of the worst ones he should have. But yeah, as far as stopping the Saints gunners, they didn't have a good day. But I thought they did okay with our gunners. Now, as far as the offensive line, I'm sure we'll get into that, and we're going to get a lot of calls on that. Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, now I don't even want to hear it anymore. Like, yeah, we're going to have a big emphasis on the run game. Okay, Allie, great. This is the 4th year you've told me that. Like, open a hole. Like, they opened one hole. Ronald Jones got, like, 16 yards. That was the only hole he had. Mm-hmm. I thought he ran well. I thought he ran hard.
Which brings me to 76. How is that a rookie who had no offseason training program can handle his blocks better than a guy that's been in this league for 5 years, is paid like a top-tier left tackle, but he's getting his ass roasted?
Well, he's also in a contract year. Don't forget that. Throw that on top of it. He's also in a contract year. And by all reports, Donovan Smith had a really good camp, right? Like, that's all the people that were there were like, hey, Donovan Smith was looking pretty solid in camp. And Chef, you're asking all the right questions. And unfortunately, nobody has an answer. But I got to tell you, BA has his little accountability sheet. And Donovan Smith's name is going to be on there at least a half a dozen times, if not more.
Yeah, at the top, it's all caps, in bold.
It's going to be a lot. Like BA is good. He's going to need a scroll for his accountability sheet this week. So, hey, Chef, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We've got a couple other people trying to call in. But, man, thanks so much for calling, and let's talk next week, okay?
All right, take care, guys.
Thanks, Chef.
Fish. Go Bucs. Cheer up, Chef.
Right. Oh, man, right on top of each other. You are on the line with Brent and Ren here for the Instant Cast. No, that's you, Ren. You're calling me.
I know. I want to call on the show. I want to talk about how good that Ren guy is.
Oh, my gosh. Right, who's on the line with us right now?
I hung up. Okay.
Hi, you got Riley from Arkansas.
Hey, Riley.
From Arkansas. What's up, buddy?
Nothing much. I just wanted to try to calm everybody down. I just thought I'd put this game in perspective a little bit. I mean, I would think with the Saints, how good they are, like, I would say that the Tom Brady Patriots of the past couple of years would have a hard time beating them. So I would just like to say that, I would hope that we were going to win this game, but I kind of came into it knowing that, it was going to be an uphill struggle. So I'm just happy that some people look good. But yeah, other than that, I knew it was coming, and I know that we're going to get better.
I'm with you. It was just sort of like the pre-snap penalties and the dumb mistakes, and some of it was just like flat out laziness, And the eye-opening part about Donovan Smith, who I'm sure we're going to talk about all week long, was it wasn't Cameron Jordan, it was Trey Hendrickson and Granderson. Like he made those guys look like Pro Bowlers today, and it when Tom Brady had his fumble and he had to fall on it, and then we had to go for 4th and long. We ended up getting the touchdown, Mike Evans' only catch. But it was because the guy Granderson beat him around the outside with speed. Like Hendricks beat him around the outside with speed continually. And if you got Hendricks being able to beat Donovan Smith, then you got poor Tristan Wirfs out there going with like a 4-time Pro Bowler. And I thought Wirfs looked really good. As much about as you could expect from him. The only bad thing I saw, he did let up a pressure and he had a false start. Besides that, man, I thought I was pleased with the way he played.
Yeah, I agree with you on Tristan Wirfs. I thought he looked pretty good too. And I was just wondering a question for you guys. So I was watching the game from a bar, so I couldn't really tell exactly, but it looked like there was a fumble there. I think with Devon White. So whose responsibility is that? Who? Was that Bruce Arians that should have challenged that? Is it someone upstairs? Like who missed who fumbled the ball there?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that at the beginning. They have a replay team that tells Bruce Arians to throw the flag, and then he throws a flag, unless he can throw it whenever he wants to. I thought that was really disappointing because the worst thing would happen was you lose a timeout. But if the Saints score there, you really don't need it anymore. Because now I think that would have put them up 17 if they scored that touchdown, which they end up doing anyway. So, and when the announcers are like, yeah, I thought it was a catch fumble, and I thought it was a catch fumble, and then there's nothing from the Bucs sideline, when we just went down and scored and got ourselves back in the game, and almost being gifted this turnover. It was. I'm sure Bruce Arians will be asked about it Tuesday, or do they have pressers on Monday? I'm not sure, but the next presser, I'm sure they'll ask about it, and he'll just say we didn't think it was and move on. But
I got to be honest,
I would have liked to seen the chance taken, because all you lose is a timeout.
I'm all for taking chances. I really am. I remember watching that play back on the DVR, because that's how I watch it now.
Nice.
And it did not look like a catch fumble to me. It looked like an incomplete pass.
Boo.
I went back and watched it a few times.
Get out, Brent.
So
get out.
I actually didn't have a problem with them not challenging that, because at first I wanted them to, and then they showed the replay, and like I hit the little back button and watched it 2 or 3 times, and I went, yeah, they probably wouldn't win that one.
Yeah. And the only replay we got was really quick, and it was already like Devon White was already tackling him. Like, you didn't see him like receive the ball.
He never had control of the ball, is what memory serves as what I saw on the replay. Was he just never had control of the ball.
So. Okay. And I believe you 100%, but I'm still going to be mad until I see it myself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for letting me call in, and I just wanted to say, go Bucs. It's only uphill from here, guys.
Hey, listen. Hey, we got 15 more of these coming up this season. Who knows? Maybe we got 18 more coming up. So let's hear back from you later on this season, okay?
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Good call. Yeah, I'm not upset. Like, I'm not like doom and gloom. It's just like some of those things. Like as Bucs fans, we really needed Donovan Smith to step up this year, and we thought he was going to, and he didn't.
And he didn't.
And we really thought
Smith tops my disappointing list.
And we really thought we were going to be able to run the ball, and we couldn't.
We ran it better than they did. We did. We ran it for 86 yards. They ran it for 82.
How many carries?
We did 26 attempts. They did 34.
What was our yards?
3.3.
Okay, so that's still not good. So both of us were crappy.
Right, but I just said we did it better. That's all I'm saying.
We did it better.
But I got to tell you, Red, this is
second to last place.
This is such a Bucs thing. You look down the list, and there's plenty of categories where we won.
Because the defense played really well. The defense played well. They did.
For the most part.
The defense played. Because they got in the first half, they kept being put in crappy situations. It was less than 200.
It wasn't even the first half. It was the second quarter. Like the first quarter, they were fine. First quarter, they were great. I was like, okay, they're coming back and right where they left off. And then the second quarter hit, and it's like they couldn't do anything.
Well, I mean, but that was the pick. Like, they went down, scored, tied it up, and then Brady threw a pick, and then they're on there, and so now, and it was only like 90 seconds. So we went from winning 7-0, and 90 seconds on the game clock later, we're down 7. Yeah. And neither, the Saints they're a top 3 roster. They might be the best team in the NFL, and the Chiefs will have something to say about that, and the Ravens and the Seahawks, but they're definitely in the conversation, so they're gonna score, and then you look at the end of the third quarter, and they have less than 200 yards total offense. I'm not hanging this on the defense. I know it's like if they're not completely dominant, and you're like, well, they didn't have a good game, but Michael Thomas didn't do anything, and they didn't run the ball well. Now again, they got to figure some way to be able to guard Kamara in a screen game. I don't get it. It's like there's 2 guys they throw to. There's Thomas and there's Kamara, and but
occasionally to Cook.
Occasionally. Well, but all teams are like that, But I'm not putting Cook on my fantasy team because he's going to get 4 targets a game, maybe.
Right. The problem is Mike Evans can get 4 targets a game and still crack 100, which, by the way, I really needed. I'm glad for Mike Evans to have had a few, defensive passing interference calls gone his way, because it's effectively a catch, right? Yeah. Except he doesn't get credited with the yards, and I've got him on my fantasy team, and I need him to get the yards. Right. And I would like to see him crack that 1,000-yard mark this year and take that record. That's so far down the list of priorities, though.
Yeah.
But I'd still like to see it.
Of course.
But I've got Mike Evans on my impressive list for this game. While we're talking about him. By the way, if anybody wants to call in, phone line's open, 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. Or go to the link in the chat room, and you guys can join us here on the video chat. Your choice. But Mike Evans, and it was more of a caveat of, in light of his injury
Mm-hmm.
coming out, I was impressed with how well he seemed to be playing. I just wish that the penalties calls that were for him, I guess I should say it, were actually just catches.
Right.
But
Selfishly
that's more
for fantasy
personal.
reasons.
Yeah, personal selfish reasons. But Mike did a good job. He and Lattimore, I mean, my God, they were getting into it all game.
It's
and
gonna
just
be
kept
fun.
drawing. And I don't know if Lattimore just knows how to get into Mike Evans' head, if Mike Evans knows how to get into Lattimore's head, or they do it to each other, But it just, I mean, to watch Mike Evans grab Lattimore by the throat, and I don't know that he was aiming for his throat as much as just trying to push him back, and that's where his hand landed. And then Lattimore coming around and pushing him in the back. I mean, that's the stuff that Mike Evans got suspended for a game a couple years ago.
Right.
Except Mike Evans' hit was a bit harder. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it was complete blindside.
Right. So anyway, but I've got Mike Evans on my
I think Mike
My
Evans
impressive.
did his job, and I thought I saw this in chat a long time ago.
Mhm.
And anybody who asked me, and I had a few people, it wasn't like, tons, but I had a few people ask me, like, if you have Mike Evans, are you starting him? I'm like, no. Because Lattimore is the only guy that cancels Mike out. Now, if you look at it, Mike, as far as the offense, didn't hurt it. Like, he only had one catch, but it was a touchdown, and both those pass interference penalties were over 20 yards.
right.
So, as far as him helping the team, it was great. And we talked about this, a couple of days ago. Having Mike Evans in the field takes Lattimore away from everybody else. So,
Right.
but if he was hurt, we would be down one more weapon. So having just Mike Evans out there, helps out Godwin, helps out Scotty Miller, helps out OJ, helps out Gronk. What shocked
Well, it's
me
the
most.
ripple effect, right? It's the
Yeah.
ripple effect you talked about on our show on Buck in the News, I think it was, this
Yeah.
past week, of if Mike Evans not there, then that puts Lattimore over on Godwin and then shuffles everybody around.
Exactly.
Mike Evans was there. The ripple effect helped everybody else out.
Yeah. What I think what shocked me most about the offense was that they did not use the middle of the field until the fourth quarter, until they were way behind. Everything was to the outside, and the tight ends were non-existent.
Right.
Brady was all this talk about he always puts it in the same spot, and so you can catch and run. No, that's not what I saw. And I'm not saying he can't do it, and it's of course a lot harder with live bullets. But I thought his deep ball was very impressive. I thought there
were
were
you worried
all.
about his arm strength at all, Ren?
I am
After
not.
watching a game?
I am not.
All right.
I am not worried about his arm strength. Did you notice that Drew Brees couldn't throw a ball past 15 yards unless it was a Skittles logo? Boo! That's a rainbow, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. So they also put in Taysom Hill to take a shot deep.
They played Taysom Hill a lot in this game.
Hey, let me
And
ask
I
you
mean a
this.
lot.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you this. Did you think that it was uncouth to do a pitch pass up like 3 scores with less than 2 minutes to go to Kamara, and then when near the end of the game, instead of just like, okay, like you have to stop us, right? That's what we're
Right.
doing, but we're just going to run the ball up the middle, and if you stop us, you stop us. We already won the game. But instead of doing that, they do like this flare jet sweep pitch to like I'm totally with the, hey, it's not my job to stop my offense. But calling a trick play with like 3 minutes left to go in the fourth when you're up by 2 scores,
Yeah.
like I'm like,
I get what you're saying, and my
Yeah.
answer is yes, it's uncouth, and honestly, I love that kind of an attitude. I just do. It's that put your foot on their throat and stomp when you have them down. You don't let up. You keep going when you're playing sports. I get what you're saying, and yes, most of the time it's a hey, let up. That's where you get the whole garbage time thing.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep things in front of us and all that kind of stuff.
you get like Kamara 3 times up the middle in a punt.
Yeah, like, and I hate that. I hate that. Why, and we've seen that come back to bite us as Bucs fans. We've seen that. Ren, we've got a phone call. Let's find out who is on the line with us here tonight at the PewterCast Live. Who do we got here? Hello, caller. I have no caller. They hung up on us. All right, call us back. Phone line is open. 864-729-BUCKS. That's 864-729-2827. You guys call in. You may listen to us chat for a bit, but I promise I'll get to you in just a sec.
Do you think Donovan Smith's performance was poor enough for them to start looking at other options to possibly next week?
I hope they do.
I do too.
I think right now, like Jason Light has called his player personnel people saying, who else is there? Is there a better option?
No, I'm not about on the team. Like
I don't think we have a better option on the team. I think they've already looked at it. I think that I don't know whoever the next option is. I don't think is better than Donovan Smith on the team. Is my guess.
Or Wells.
That's a guess. I don't think it's Haig. I don't think it's Wells, and I don't think they're moving Wirfs over. I don't think that option is on the team right now. So I don't know that option exists at this point in the season out there right now. Like for as crummy as Donovan Smith was today, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's still better, presumably, than what is available out there. And that's my problem right now.
Right. Yeah, and
right?
It has to be true. And I'm even willing to give, like I give Mike Evans sort of like okay, Lattimore's a tough matchup for him. And if the very least he takes him away from the offense, and I don't expect a big game out of Mike every time we play the Saints. Okay, no problem.
Right.
And I would even give like that same sort of like nod to Donovan Smith. Like, okay, he's gonna have a rough game against Cam Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't play a lot against Cam Jordan.
Right.
Like he had a rough game against their third and fourth edge players.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really scary. I mean, he had a Caleb Benenoch type performance.
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yep. Ren, we've got somebody calling in. Let's get them here on the line with us. You're on with here let's try that again.
Sure.
You're on with us here at the PewterCast Live. Who do we got calling in tonight right now?
Formerly known as Instacast.
Hey, this is Gene. How you guys doing, man?
Gene from Buck What You Heard?
Yeah, it sure is.
Come on, Gene. What's going on, brother?
Hey, not too much, man. You guys are spot on. I mean, I love your show, and I think you guys do a great job. You guys are spot on. I don't think people should jump out the window yet, or at all, really. I think this is the first game, and, the focus should be on getting to the playoffs at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. Right now, this is kind of learning. I saw a lot of things that are fixable. I think the only thing that's of concern to me is Donovan Smith. And, you hit the nail on the head before I called in. I heard you mention that there's nobody else out there. At the time that Donovan Smith was paid the money he was, there's nobody else that was even close to being available that would have been, in his range.
He was the best available free agent tackle out there.
Yep, he was in the right place at the right time.
Yep.
And I do believe if it had been a previous year or the next year, after he signed that contract, there would have been players available and he wouldn't be a Buccaneer.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's obviously everyone's going to be watching this very closely. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you what, that performance was so bad, I was thinking to myself, somewhere around the third quarter going, okay, I guess tackle in the first round next year is back on the table.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're saying in the chat too. So
I don't know what the free agent market's going to look like as far as O-line or as far as the trenches goes, but you have to address this. This has to be taken care of, and it shouldn't be something that we're worrying about moving forward.
Yeah. So how do you think the rookies did? Wirfs and Winfield?
I love Tristan Wirfs. I know that he had that penalty, but again, for not having any OTAs, no rookie camp, no mini camp, and no preseason, I thought he did very well, considering he is a rookie, catching up with the speed of the NFL game as opposed to what you had faced in college. So I was very happy with him. Winfield exceeded my expectations. I did not expect him to play the way he did. Mm-hmm. He played like he's been in the league and he's been here before. And, he almost got an INT in the end zone. So here's a guy that I am really looking forward to. Devon White. Devon White played great. I mean, I really enjoyed, watching him play. One thing I do want to mention is the Saints do a great job in the offseason. Now, I hate Mickey Loomis. I have a love-hate relationship with him. Mm-hmm. He's a genius when it comes to building in the trenches. And he continuously goes out there and finds these gems and gets them on the front line, and they play well, and they just have consistently played well. And so I know people were saying, well, we need to dump Ronald Jones and go with somebody else. I think Ronald Jones did as good as you could do against that defensive line. So, again, you have to give credit where credit's due. That defensive line, they are there to stop the run. I mean, that's their calling card. It has been for the past 3 years, and they've done a great job of it. So, I'm happy with what Ronald Jones did, and I expect to see even more from him next week against the Panthers.
Yeah, I think if you compare Fournette's runs to Ronald Jones's runs, McCoy didn't have any. I thought Ronald Jones was the more talented back and got the most from what he was given, and I thought Fournette played well too. Like, I don't think, I'm not upset with Fournette's performance. I just think Ronald Jones gave everything he had, and he got every inch he could. And the one time they gave him a crack, he almost took it to the house.
Yeah. Yeah. And the one thing that I did notice, I would think that Fournette would be more of a north-south runner, and he was running along the line, whereas Ronald Jones was running north-south. And I guess when you look at him and the speed and I guess the talent, I would have thought the roles would have been reversed a little bit, but again, they did what they had to do, and I was very happy with the performance. I just think they ran up against a team that's been together. They have more consistency, and when they're bringing new players in, they have a nucleus that's been around, and you just plug and play, and those guys just kind of pick up and learn from the guys that are already there. So it's a little bit easier for a newcomer to come into Saints defense as opposed to offensive player coming into the Bucs offense. So that's another thing to really consider as well.
Yeah, everybody talked about it before. We had all these high hopes, but when it's been said a million times, no training camp, new quarterback, new players, new stars, and the side of the ball that had the sort of the most cohesion was the defense, and they played really well. The side of the ball that didn't play that well, and they're the ones that had the dumb penalties. I thought the Carlton Davis pass interference was a little ticky-tacky. Whitehead did grab his jersey, and I'm not saying it wasn't pass interference on Whitehead, but it kind of looked like his finger got stuck in there. So I think they were both penalties, but I also think on certain Sundays with certain crews, neither of them would have been called. So I like I like the way the defense is trending. I thought they played really well, and the offense, like I've said before, put them in some bad spots.
I'll tell you something that didn't happen well on defense.
Sure.
Was that penalty on Vita Vea on fourth down?
Oh God, yeah.
Flashbacks to Chris Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
But again, I think they'll get all these things out of their system. This was a big game. I mean, you're on the national stage now, and I just think they'll build off of it and play better as the season progresses.
Yeah, I'm with you. It always helps with these shows to talk it out. I'm always in a better mood like halfway through these shows than I am at the beginning, and then a better.
Ren goes. This is Ren's process for anyone who's new to this. He comes in, he's either really elated or really pissed off, and about 30 minutes into it, he turns into analytical Ren.
Yeah, and then all the emotion's gone, and okay, let's start breaking down what really happened. Let's start looking. Okay. Now that I've torn everyone a new butthole because they all stink, let's talk about some good stuff and moving forward.
And then Ren's gonna come in, and he's gonna be like, he just got his finger stuck in the jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it was.
It's not that he grabbed him. Yeah,
he didn't mean to.
He wasn't at a position. He just, the lights got in his eyes. It can happen to anybody.
He didn't face mask him. He just grabbed the inside of his helmet from here by his eyeball. That's all. I
still haven't seen. Did you go back and look at that?
Yeah, it was up here by his eye. He got him up here by the eye. Like, it wasn't in the face mask, but it was up here.
So he did.
Helmet.
So the Carlton Davis face mask penalty, you're saying was a penalty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it was, but it wasn't in the face mask. It was. He helmeted him. He didn't face mask him.
Yeah, that's a face mask though.
It is.
Yeah.
But that's where he got him.
It's called a facial horse collar.
Did you guys see the Cam Jordan punch that didn't get called?
Yes, I did. And did you see Jensen get up in his face and hit him with his, not hit him, but Jensen was on it. It.
Yeah.
He gave him a belly bump.
Jensen is the enforcer.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing. And this is, I really want to believe, like, I hate Cam Jordan. I have said this. I do not like this guy. I really hope that he was trying to punch the ball out and not actually punch a player. You know
That's
what
what I think he was doing.
But it was he fist, balled up, punched down, straight into the pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not okay.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one that saw that,
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I'm surprised that nothing got called, but I guess there were so many other things going on at that time. They probably just missed it, I guess.
Yeah, and maybe from the referee's angle, he hit the ball and never hit the player. You know,
we're
so
not down there. So.
But it was definitely,
How
you know,
guys, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best, how'd you guys rank the refereeing in this game?
I would give it a 4.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, I didn't really have I didn't have a problem with it. The only problem, the only call that I think that should have been called was the pass interference at the end of the half because that guy hit Godwin early.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah,
you know, and
was that where he trapped his arm?
No,
he
it
was
was
going for the ball, but he wound up trapping his arm. Is that the play?
No, it was when Brady had to scramble right before halftime, and it was like a 45-second 2-minute drill. And Brady hit it would have been a catch, but the cornerback got there early and knocked the ball down through Godwin, and it was a bang play, and they didn't call it, but through replay he got there early, and it's one of those ones where like if you're not gonna call that one, then Carlton Davis's early in the second half shouldn't have been called. It was sort of that, you know, like by the letter of the law, it was definitely pass interference. Could you have let it slide? Sure. But you didn't let anything else slide as far as pass interference in that game. And I thought all the pass interference calls on both teams were good. Like I thought, you know, I had no problem with it whatsoever. I just can't give it a 5 because they're officials. You know, I'll probably never give them a 5, but I didn't. The referees were not a narrative in this game. They didn't cost any team anything.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of spoiled by the XFL and how their referees were, and you know the transparency you saw with those referees, and you know now I'm a little bit more. I pay a little bit more attention to the refereeing now, just because of that. Because you know they shouldn't play a part in the game. The game should be won or lost by teams, and you shouldn't have to know a referee by name. You should never have to do that.
Right. Though I will tell you, Gene.
The world we all.
Gene, I was gonna say I will tell you though. I have lately become okay with the idea, and this might have been after last year with a bunch of the replay stuff. I've been okay with the idea of the human factor of the referees. Like they're going to miss some plays. They're gonna call it wrong.
Right.
Like I'm okay with that. It shouldn't be something that comes down to a game. Like it shouldn't turn on the game. Like it shouldn't turn the game one way or the other, though. Those are the ones that really need to. You've got to make sure you get this call right, and there is no excuse with the replays that we have with people watching in New York, people watching in a booth, that somebody shouldn't be able to go, "Hey, that one's not an okay call." I don't care if it's replayable or not, or reviewable or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't care. When you're inside the 2-minute mark, everything's reviewable from upstairs, at least. You know, like somebody's got to be able to call and say no. You know, but outside of that, I'm okay with the human factor of the referees.
Yeah, me too. You know, like I said, as long as it's not, you know, turning a game one way or the other. You know, outright. I mean, it should be won or lost by the team. So. But anyway, guys, you guys are doing an awesome job, and I will let you get back to the next caller. I appreciate this format, and I will be checking you guys out next week.
Very good.
Wow.
Gene, thanks so much, buddy. And
Gene, I can't believe it's already been an hour.
It's there. You guys, hey, listen, Gene runs a show, Buck What You Heard, right here at YouTube. You guys make sure you check out his show. Go over there, subscribe, click the bell icon so you know when he goes live as well. He's always got good stuff going on over there. And you never know when Gene may pop up. Gene, we'll talk to you later, okay, buddy?
Thanks, Gene.
All right.
That's sort of Gene's little signature sign-off. Am I the only one that knows that? Wow, I can't believe it's already been an hour. Like, that's how he starts to wrap up every show.
Right.
Wow, I can't believe it's already been an hour. That's why I said that. I don't think he got it either. So, anyway.
Right.
Another social faux pas from Rendex.
There you go. The cuts that come in from Ren are kind of deep sometimes. Hey, if
Yeah.
you guys want to call in, the number is 864-729-BUCKS, 864-729-2827, or check out the link that's in the video chat right now. You guys can join us right here on the live stream. You guys do that. You call in. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about regarding this Bucs versus Saints game. Ren, I got a question. I got somebody I do want to talk about, though.
Let's hear
We
it.
talked a little bit about Tristan Wirfs.
Mm-hmm.
Wirfs was great. Let's talk about Alex Kappa.
Sure.
Third-year guy.
Yep.
Didn't play at all his rookie year.
Nope.
Came out, basically had a rookie redo year last year.
Yep.
Right? Did better than we expected.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about Alex Kappa's debut in year number 3 or 2, depending on how you count?
At halftime, I wanted his head.
Yeah.
Like, I
did
you know,
too. That's why I asked.
Yeah, you know, Roach, whoever that guy is, I'm sure Saints fans know who he is, but he had 2 tackle for losses, and it was Kappa just like with 2 whiffs. And the field goal, the blocked field goal, came right where Kappa was, where, you know, Wirth is backpedaling, trying to hold 3 guys back, and Wirth is like face down looking for ants in the AstroTurf. Like, I don't know. I think he dropped a coin. Like maybe a quarter fell out, and he was looking, like digging through the grass for it. I don't know, but I thought it was. I didn't notice him in the second half for anything. There was no gaffes. So remember, this is like a raw. You know, haven't seen any of the tape or seen really anyone's takes on any of the players. But I was okay with the second half with what Wirfs did. Like really, like the only people that I have problems with is Brady and Smith. Like that's
Brady
it.
and Smith.
Yeah, that's it.
What go back? What problems? You've talked highly about some things with Brady. What
Yeah.
problems, just real quickly, did you have with Brady?
I thought when it was late in the game and OJ did that down up down and Brady kind of scrambled around and he tried to like throw it through the safety. Like if he just would have hung that up high, I thought that was like it was a misread on his part as far as that throw. The Justin Evans pick 6 where he threw it was a terrible throw. It was 5 yards behind Justin Evans. You know, so there was that. I heard, and I'm going to cheat a little bit because I heard BA in his presser said, yeah, Tom's made a lot of audibles. Some of them weren't right. But I didn't really have a problem. You could tell when the Saints weren't putting 7 in the box or less, he was audibling to a run, and that's what you're supposed to do. But you know, the run just wasn't really happening. And then I just thought, after the first drive, I guess he just wasn't as accurate as I thought he would. You know, early in the Bucs had a penalty, and remember he hit Scotty Miller, I think maybe on his first catch, and he came like a half a yard short of the first down. It was like 3rd and 11 or something. It's because he put it on his back hip. If he put it where he was supposed to, Scotty would have he would have been able to take his momentum, even if he was tackled right away. It would have got the first down. And I know these are nitpicky things, and I'm not blaming Brady, but for all these things you kept hearing in training camp, the ball's right on the number every single time. He puts it in the spot where everyone can get yardage, and it just didn't happen. Again, his deep ball was on the money, like on the money. But as far as hitting his receivers in stride, you know, in those short to intermediate passes, it just wasn't there.
Right. Well, Ren, we've got somebody who wants to chime in here. And
Sure.
Yeah, you should be able to hear him just fine. Let's bring him in. Looks like this is our friend John. John, what's going on, buddy? John, can you hear us? John can't hear us.
Sometimes he has internet problems. He's kind of out in the. He's come out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Well, it's
All
John
right, we'll
with
pull
it.
him out. John, wave at me. Wave at me when you can hear us, okay? And we'll get you back in.
Did you see John with his 19th different sort of rebrand there? He's Bay Clutch now.
Hey, listen. John's owning them all. I love it. I love it. I love it.
He's been more cool names in social media.
He comes up with some cool names. I do want to say this. We've got somebody who is this. I don't know if this is a first trend, but this doesn't happen super often. We got somebody in our chat room who's joining us who is very apparently a Saints fan. And,
oh, really?
He listen.
Where?
He's over in YouTube, over in our YouTube chat room.
Oh, is that Darren?
Darren, yeah, Darren. And look, I will emulate those who have gone before. and say, all are welcome. Just don't be an asshole. And we don't need to be assholes back. So,
and
but
this
everybody's
is the way,
welcome. And listen, you got bragging rights tonight, brother. You do. You just do. We can't.
You're still ugly, but whatever.
Yeah. Still
no.
hate your uniform and your team.
Yeah.
But,
and your
you
face. No.
And
of
Darren,
course,
if you wanna
all are
call
welcome.
Call in.
No,
and
do
check
not.
us.
No. I'm not taking a Saints fan phone call after a loss in a live show. No. Absolutely not. No. Draw the line. Put my foot down. And here's the way I always sort of handle trolls in the chat room. Just do not react to him whatsoever. Like, if he's being a jerk, like, we can't kick him out. Just do not react to anything they say whatsoever. And usually they get bored because no one's reacting to him and they leave. But, if he's coming in and he wants to, peacock a little and, and say that that he thinks the Saints are doing good, no, that's fine.
And he does provide this. And Darren, I appreciate this. He says, I will say our defense made some big mistakes with face mask and pass interference.
Yeah, okay. So he's being cool.
Yeah.
He just wants to jump in here. That's fine.
Let's bring in John. I think John's ready to go. John, can you hear us now?
What's going on? Yeah, I can hear you now. I had a shitty ass connection going on there after the Wi-Fi.
Sure, man. What's on your mind tonight coming off this Bucs Saints loss, 23-34?
I mean, it's other than Bucs being Bucs. I mean, they look pretty damn good. I mean, it's a little bit more what I expected. A little high scoring, but overall, I think really the defense played pretty damn good. I mean, minus those couple big plays, but like they look pretty decent. And going back to what Ren was saying earlier, like you got to do something with freaking Donovan Smith. Like he looked like worse than Caleb Bennett at times, and you got to give Tristan Wirfs a little bit of credit because he only held Cam Jordan in pretty good. So, I mean, like Ren was saying, maybe we need to just go ahead and bring up that left tackle in the draft again.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that means that we're dealing with this left tackle for the next 15 games or more.
He needs to do something.
Well, and it's going to have to come down to coaching. Like, if it means you have to, like, let's talk about Gronk for a second. The guy's slow. He's not the same player he was.
No, he's not.
Thank
you for bringing that up.
He's beat to hell. Like, I'm glad he's here. I'm not saying he stinks. He shouldn't be on the team. But if you have to take Gronk and line him up next to Donovan Smith for 76 of the 86 plays, then do it. Because you still got O.J. Howard and you still got Cam Brate and you still got Chris Godwin and Scotty Miller and Mike. Like, you have that luxury with offensive weapons that the Buccaneers have. Now, is it going to make it a little harder with matchups and be able to spread the field as much? Absolutely not. But do you want to get your 43-year-old quarterback injured, the ball stripped away? Donovan Smith ran his man out the back door. Brady took off to run, and the guy that Donovan Smith ran out the back door chased Brady down and made the tackle. You know why? Because Donovan Smith quit on the play because I've done my job. I've run him out the back door. Whatever happens from here on out, that's what happens, but this is all I'm supposed to do. And he's been like that his entire career. And
that's his problem.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't love football. He loves what football gives him.
Exactly, because you just don't give up on the plays like that. He should have been helping out, trying to keep that line away from it. Because if he had actually light a fire under his ass and actually tried to finish plays, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I mean, he'd be a little bit better of a tackle than he already is. And if he can't fix that, then he just needs to they need to cut ties and just get rid of him. But other than that, like, kicker didn't really, that's not even a topic we need to even bring up because he did pretty damn good. I mean, the blocked field goal wasn't really necessarily his fault. But
yeah, I think that was Kappa's fault.
I mean, the offense, it just did pretty good. It just, those two interceptions from Brady, that one was overthrown to Mike Evans. So it's not really completely Brady's fault on that one. But the other one was the screen pass, and he threw it a little too soon. But if they can just pick it up, man, it's still going to be 10 to 12 win season.
I'll tell you what I'm most interested in right now, John. Today is what it was. I'm interested in what happens next week. How do the Buccaneers bounce back? How does the coaching staff hold, specifically this week, Donovan Smith accountable?
Right.
And what are they going to do to him? And what's going to change? Because if this comes back out next week and it's the same thing, and then Donovan Smith is still, if nothing changes, then that's when I begin to lose faith in the coaching staff. So I'm most interested to see what happens and where we're going from here and what they're going to do, because as Ren said, we've got to do something about Donovan Smith. And I don't know what their option is. I don't know if maybe a Joe Haig or a Josh Wells who doesn't quit on a play is better than a Donovan Smith who does quit on a play. A handful of times. I don't know. Plays. Yeah. Right. But not all plays. Because sometimes Donovan Smith does play all the way through the echo of the whistle. Just not always. And
everyone else in the NFL plays all the way through the whistle too.
Exactly.
It's not. You're not asking him for extra effort. You're asking him for minimal effort.
No, we're asking him to do his job. Yeah, he needs to be on playing his job.
Yeah, you're asking for the minimum amount of effort.
Everybody takes plays off is bogus. That should never be an acceptable answer, ever.
Especially
John,
in the trenches.
Before I get you out of here, buddy.
No, I'll catch you guys later. Go Bucs.
Right, thanks for coming in, John. Thanks for coming in.
Good to see you, Johnny.
Right here on the back of John Wren, we have a phone call coming into us. Who do we got here talking to us tonight?
This is Corey from Nashville.
Corey from Nashville. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we hear you. Hey, Corey.
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I've talked about the Tom Brady thing ad nausea because the game's been over for a couple hours now. So I just want to talk about the team as a whole.
Sure.
Just good, bad, good. Overall, the defense is spectacular to me. To go down 17 like we did early in that third, and they gave up 4 outside of that Jamel Dean play.
Right.
They gave up 4 yards to the Saints at home. Okay. Michael Thomas had 7 catches last year, 3 catches last year. He had 2 catches today.
Yeah.
I just thought games like that, the defense at times last year didn't give us a chance to win a lot of games. I thought they gave us a chance to win this game this year. I mean, earlier today.
Yeah.
Vita Vea, man. I know a lot of people love him, and I don't know if I talked about him earlier because I was listening to another podcast right after the game. But against average to solid interior lineman, he just doesn't move the needle for me, like at all. And it's really annoying because I get it. Derwin James is hurt. He's been hurt 2 of his 3 years. Great. Okay, fine.
I'm not having that conversation.
And I don't want to compare. And I don't want to compare a player that's hurt. And I don't want to compare at all. I just want to enjoy Vita Vea. I just really want to enjoy this guy. Mm-hmm. But it's just at times when we play average to good or solid offensive linemen, he doesn't pop. And I watch players like Brady Jarrett, who's a 3rd-round pick. He dominated Seattle today. They lost, granted, but he was all over the damn field. It's just like Vita doesn't play like a top 15 pick. He plays like a 3rd-rounder, 2nd, 3rd-rounder. And I get his grades are his grades from last year, but I just need more. I need more from him on that interior. One-on-one, he blocked too easily. But let me get off of him. I thought Tom Brady, he threw the ball well. The interceptions were the interceptions. His arm looked more live when we actually decided to use it. That was my biggest issue. We got all these weapons. We got Tom Brady. We turn around and do predictable 1st down and 2nd down play calling. That annoyed me to no end because Byron Leftwich had 0 continuity in play calling today. It was almost like a game of Madden. Okay, it was just, I'm gonna run it on 1st down. All right, we got 2 yards. I'm gonna run it again on 2nd down. I don't know what did you guys think overall as far as just those 2 things that I echoed?
Well, I thought the interior defensive line, besides that one play by Will Golston, was pedestrian today. But then you look at what their main job is stop the run, which they did, held them under 3 yards per carry. So it's sort of hard to say they didn't do their job. But I feel you on Vita Vea. And I haven't really looked at it as far as competition is what I think Buck fans are looking for, or at least I'm looking for, and maybe you too, is like more consistency. Like I need to see him make a difference more. From where that first round 12th overall.
We're not asking for Aaron Donald.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's a generational player.
Yeah.
But Grady Jarrett, he could play like Grady Jarrett, but I get that's not his job. That's not his job. Play like Grady Jarrett because he's more of a pass rushing defensive tackle. I understand. But he's also disruptive as well. If we just look at pound for pound, if we go to running or being disruptive or plugging a hole, Grady Jarrett is just so much more effective. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all right. It's okay. I like we're all frustrated by this loss, and you know, you're right. Like, I don't think Sue showed up, and I don't think Vea showed up. I don't want to say they didn't show up, but they didn't affect the game as far as the plays that I think fans and quite honestly the coaches were hoping for. They did their job, and they did their job well, but they didn't really do anything to affect the outcome of the game. Excuse me. And I'm sorry, I forgot what your second point was.
No, the play calling in general.
Oh,
I just thought it
yeah.
was continuity.
Right.
Allowing us to be as explosive as we could be potentially.
I think that
I just thought 19 carries for Ronald Jones. Okay, you want to establish the run, but it was so predictable. I mean, my goodness.
I think that the game plan was to establish the run, and when the Bucs were kept facing, and Troy Aikman alluded to it, like it looks like every time we looked up, it was like 3rd and 7 or more. You know, the run game just wasn't clicking. But to be fair, when the Bucs kind of like got behind a lot and sort of spread and went wide, it didn't help because then the rush was getting to him. So, I remember being very angry with Byron Leftwich after like 3 or 4 games last year. And then they put up the 3rd most amount of points in the league with the 3rd most amount of
rhythm.
and then he put up the 3rd most amount of yards. So you know, just like with Donovan Smith, I know I haven't said it yet, like it's not time to jump off the bridge. It's just disappointing about it. Like, so I'm not going to start calling out Byron Leftwich now because there were reasons why the run game wasn't working, and it had nothing to do with his play calling. There was reasons why Tom Brady didn't have time on certain when the Bucs tried to do these more deeper developing routes, and the problem wasn't Byron Leftwich. You know, so but as far as consistent with Vea, I'm with you. It was a little disappointing for the whole interior defensive line to me. But you look at the numbers, you're like, well, you know, they stopped the run. And then as far as running the ball, like it just wasn't there, and it hasn't been there for a long time. And I'm just kind of over to the point, like, I don't even want to hear an offensive line say, like, we're putting a bit in. Like, I don't care how much emphasis you're putting. Like, you're not putting enough. Like, it doesn't matter what you tell me. Like, you have to show me, or I think you're a big dum-dum face because, you know, you keep telling me you're good, but you're not any good.
5 years. So for the previous 5 years, we did say, I know I've said this several times, if you put us with an average to a pretty good defense, we can win 9 to 10 games.
Right.
I feel that way this year, and I watched our defense fly around. Sean Murphy-Bunting was so impressive to me today.
Had a great game.
Because I thought he was really soft in the Superdome last year. And
he was lost
with a vendetta, and that's I thought he was really soft. I thought Michael Thomas really had his way with him in the slot last year when Teddy Bridgewater was throwing the ball. I just saw him get pushed around a lot, but I love watching people bounce back. And I thought Sean Murphy-Bunting was excellent today. And I thought our defense as a whole, like I said, the interior was pedestrian, but as a whole, if we do play defense that way, which we're not going to play against the Saints team and an offensive play caller like Sean Payton every week.
They're going to win 13 games and have a top 5 roster.
Exactly. So I look forward to this season more. Week 1 last year was a little different. I feel a little different than I do now.
Corey, let me ask you a question.
It's kind of crazy how they shook out. Yeah, go ahead.
Corey, let me ask you a question because you're kind of going down this path that I've been thinking in my head for the last few minutes. I just said in the chat room that I'm interested to find out what this team is going to look like when we're playing, not the Saints, right? Like, because we go against Carolina next week, and then we have, on and on and on. However, when I look down the schedule, we also have teams like the Chiefs. Packers had a pretty good show today. We've got the Packers coming in a couple of weeks. We're going to have to play the Saints again. You know what I mean? So if we want to be a Super Bowl team, if we want to go the distance, we can't just be good against the bad guy, the bad teams. we've got to be able to hang with the Saints. We've got to be able to hang with the Chiefs. We got to be able to hang with, the Packers and these A-level teams if we want to be there. You want to beat the man, you got to beat, or be the man, you got to beat the man, all that kind of stuff. Is this a team that after one game, I understand that, it's only one game.
This is going on your permanent record.
Right. Corey and Ren, for both of you, do you guys think that this is still a team that can hang with the top dogs, or is this a team that is just better than the other guys?
I will, especially when you say teams like the Chiefs, it's an emphatic no, and it's been that before this week, quite frankly. To be what the Chiefs are, you have to lose that game in overtime to the Patriots in the playoff game. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, the battle tested as a team where you're good, but you can't quite get over the hump, but you're still that team. We're not that. We picked up Tom Brady, awesome. And I think it's going to pay dividends to get us into the postseason, yes, to give us an opportunity to play, to continue our season that we haven't had in 13 years, that we haven't had in 13 years. So I never put us in the category of the Chiefs or even Baltimore for that matter. I just think those are the two best teams in the NFL.
Right.
And then, but there's vulnerabilities in the NFC. You just saw what DeAndre Hopkins did to San Fran today.
Right.
So it's going to be a different landscape. And I think with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, they had a good day. But let's be honest, man, they gave up 36 points to a team to Minnesota. They have had a 24-point fourth quarter, so there are definitely vulnerabilities in that defense as well.
Fair.
But when I say compete, like you said, we do play. Luckily, we play the Chiefs this year, so we get to see them up close and personal. And I think the difference will be seen then, as opposed to talking to it after week one. I just think that a team like them, they're battle tested. They're a veteran team. They've been doing this, and they know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. Like Tom Brady throwing that pick six. That was just. Well, I won't even count. I won't say the pick six, but the pass to Mike Evans. That was a I'm not familiar throw.
Right.
That was I should be familiar, but we're not there yet throw.
Yeah.
And they said it was Mike Evans. I get why Mike Evans cut it short if he was looking behind him, because the pass rush did come in and he was trying to get behind the linebacker quick as opposed to running it. But he's 6'5", so I can see why Tom Brady threw it where he threw it. You jump and get it or get an opportunity to get it. But Mike Evans annoyed me playing today. He shouldn't have played today. He really annoyed me. I thought it might have been on the side of a little bit selfish. I thought he should not have played today. But that's what I think about your question. I don't think we're in that category at all. I didn't think before the season we were in that category, just because it's hard to win a championship.
Yeah,
it's hard. So I thought San Francisco was the best team in the league last year, and I'm being honest. I watched the Titans play the Chiefs last year. I watched the Chiefs play some games and lose some games they should have won. I thought San Francisco was the most consistent team all year, and they couldn't even hoist the Lombardi Trophy. So I just think it's really hard to be one of those top four teams. You don't just wake up. Look at the Saints. The Saints for the last 3 years have the most wins in the NFL. They don't even have a conference championship appearance, you know?
Yeah.
And I think they showed, from a coaching standpoint, they're a cut above us. Why in the world are we getting false start penalties with no dome noise? Yeah. Why are we jumping off sides on 4th and 2?
Those are good questions, Corey. Definitely good questions. Yeah. Corey, you got anything else? I've got somebody else who's waiting to come in. Corey, thank you so much.
Back next week. It's no problem. I'll call back next week.
Would love to talk to you then, buddy.
Yeah, good call, Corey. Thanks for calling.
Ren, we've got one more caller.
Do you want my answer to your question?
I do. Actually, I do. Go ahead.
I'm kidding.
No, actually, do you have? Can you? Okay.
Can I make it short?
Yes. Can you make it short?
Yes, I think the Bucs can beat anybody in the league.
There you go. Hey, I'm going to bring in a good friend of the show here, Craig in Vegas.
Holy cow! Look at that.
Here. Craig, what's going on, buddy?
Well, you know what? Another year in SOB, same old Bucs. I mean, you got Tom Brady, you got Gronk, you've got Fournette, and you still do stupid stuff. I mean, it just is it's mind-numbing at this point. And it's why this team has a lifetime 387 win percentage, because of games like this. That play on special teams, that's just the Bucs right there.
You're talking about where Mike Evans bounces into
Mike Edwards.
Yeah.
Mike Edwards, yes.
Yeah.
bounces in, and the ball was going to go out of bounds. If anything, it's a fair catch, and then you got that kind of thing happen. Special teams, you knew there was a blocked field goal coming. Something bad was going to happen because that's just what we do. It just doesn't seem like either they're prepared, were they not maybe reading too much press clippings. I know Peter King was hanging around, picked them for the Super Bowl. It just seems there's just not something there that should be there. And it's just, there's so much talent, but there's so many things they do stupid. And another thing, again, do they not know that the tight end is eligible? Every year the tight end beats us, no matter what game it is. And Jamel Dean, like, oh, he's not going to throw it to him. There he goes. Bye-bye.
Yeah. 5 receptions, 80 yards. He was the leading receiver over there today for the Saints.
Yeah, it wasn't Michael Thomas that beat us. It was a 34-year-old tight end who's bounced around the league for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was Alvin Kamara on screen passes.
No, you know what it was? It was our own stupid-ass penalties and turnovers.
Yeah.
It was the Bucs beat the Bucs. And
You had 3 guys on one play, and Jordan Whitehead decided to grab the jersey. I'm like, and you'd see Sean Murphy Bunny's like, what did you do?
No, Craig, you missed it earlier in the show. His finger just got caught in his jersey. That's
true.
That's all it was.
And the sun got in his eyes.
Was the roof open today?
On an overcast day.
In the Superdome? I don't know. Has the hurricane hit yet?
It might have opened up the roof.
Right. So, I mean, as I've mentioned before, the more we talk about this, the more cathartic it becomes. It's like we really didn't play bad. Like if you expect, and again, no OTAs, no preseason, blah, 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 blah. Like the defense didn't look, or the offense didn't look that rusty with all the new additions. But it is just
Donovan Smith did.
Donovan, he wasn't rusty. He looked like he was on a slip and slide, But it was just what makes you so mad and frustrated. And you can ask Brett. I was so pissed at halftime. Is just the basic plays that well-coached high school teams do not make, and they just kept doing it and kept taking themselves out of the game. Then Brady comes out and throws a pick 6, and now it's like, okay, well, now the entire offense of whatever they discussed at halftime is now scrapped, like completely scrapped. But the defense, I thought the defense played great, and I thought the offense played reasonably well for the amount of time they've had together, learning the new system with the guy learning. I thought it was fine. I would like the offensive line to obviously make more holes in the running game, and Donovan Smith needs to pull his head out of his booty. But besides that, I thought everyone else played good. Like, they were fine. I have no complaints really about anybody else. And again, the Saints have Sean Payton and Drew Brees share a wife. That's how long they've been together. Like it is a communal marriage between the three. They grow vegetables together. Like,
is that why Sean Payton got divorced a few years ago?
I don't quote. I don't have it. Okay, off the record, I might have heard something. No, I didn't. Okay, none of that's true. But it was a really, really tough matchup, and I would have been fine even if the score was exactly the same. But if it wasn't for the pooch kick on the kickoff, if it wasn't for the back-to-back penalties from Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and if it wasn't for
blocked field goal.
Yeah, blocked field goal. Like, just the absolute ineptitude of some of it's like, as a Buc fan, you look at it and you're like, they don't care as much as I do. Like, they don't. Like, there's no way Donovan Smith has pride in himself to go out there and put that shit out on the field. Like, there's no way. He's not getting beat by an all-pro. He's getting beat by their third and fourth edge rusher and smoked by him. Like, and that's what's so frustrating. But, overall, all in all, I thought they looked good, especially the defense.
Here's the thing for next week. You have another division game.
Right.
You cannot go 0-2 if you think you're going to beat the Saints this year for the division. You can't be 0-2 and then 0-2 in the division. And another reason this game was big today, you would have been 1-0 with a road win in the division, and everybody else would have been 0-1. That's how big this game could have been today for also potentially getting a home field game in the playoffs, even a bye week if they stretch it out that far with winning too. That and everything was there in front of them. But like Ren said, They shot themselves in the foot all damn day.
Yeah.
They did, Craig. They did. Craig, I got one more person who's trying to get in. You got anything else for us for tonight, buddy?
No, I miss you guys. I know Brent doesn't have to do the road trip, but I am encouraged. And the good news, he did move to the west side, so he can save a few dollars on some sunscreen.
There you go.
All true. All true.
I just
Hashtag
gotta
facts.
stay out of the UV light in here. So, Craig, thanks so much, buddy.
All right, take care, man.
We'll talk to you later. All right. Craig in Vegas has impacted this show in more ways than he'll ever know. All right, Ren, we've got one more phone call.
I've impacted the show as well too. Joining us live, who do we got here calling in at the PewterCast Live?
Hey guys, it's Wes out of Arizona. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Wes.
Oh,
Thanks for
good.
waiting,
I'm glad.
buddy. What's
I'm
going
glad
on?
he got through.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. As far as the game goes, guys, I got to be honest with you. Does it suck we lost? Yeah, it sucks we lost, but I wasn't that doom and gloom about it, man. I think a few things kind of screwed us, and aside from that, I thought we were pretty competitive against a team that's pretty much got 70% of their roster good to go for the last 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I've said the Saints have had one of the best rosters, if not the best roster in the NFL for, like you said, like close to a half decade now. You know, the freakish thing that has happened in the playoffs has been mind-boggling. Like Drew Brees, even if like you take the I hate the Saints out of it, and you're not a Bucs fan or a fan of any team in the NFC South, Drew Brees should have like 3 rings by now.
Agreed. Yeah, man. As far as the offense goes, I think the kinks will get worked out when they were all on the same page. They looked exactly as advertised. The defense looked like they were flying around to the ball, especially against such a high-powered offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're going to crush Carolina next week, and everybody will be all happy and joy-y again.
Yeah, and Wes, that's why I asked the question I did a few minutes ago, because, yeah, I'm excited to see what this team does when it's not the Saints, when it's not potentially the best roster in the entire NFL, right? When it's not a team that's been together, for as long as Brady has been with Belichick, almost. Like, I don't know how long Brees and Peyton been together for a long time. You know, that's what I'm talking about. I'm excited to see what they do against a normal team. But the other side of that is the Saints are out there. The Chiefs are out there. The 49ers are out there. And if we expect to make a long, deep run, we got to be able to hang with those guys. I'm not satisfied with beating the easy guy. We need to be able to hang with the long, we can't be satisfied with that anymore. You know what I mean?
I agree, but week 1 is a little early with this team, especially with Brady coming in. I mean, Gronk, he came in, that's great. But having a new quarterback come in, and you only have a month and a half to prepare.
Yeah.
As the season goes on, I mean, I can't wait to see what we do against the Saints next time we play them. I mean,
we play them in 7 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think we'll be a lot more competitive then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I hope that the Bucs don't say anything about sort of that crap that Peyton pulled at the end of the game, but I hope it really pisses those people off. Mm-hmm. Like they're gonna go out there like spitting fire. Everyone hates that guy's stupid face.
Right.
I don't even know. Like I haven't even heard enough interviews to know if I really like him or dislike him. It's just that, like, I think if he coached my team, I would love him. But he doesn't, so he's such a jerk.
So he's the Tom Brady of coaches.
It's just crap like that pisses you off. I was astonished that I didn't see Jameis get on the field today.
I was too.
Oh, right, yeah.
Shocked.
I think we all predicted that. Like, it's like if that late fourth quarter pitch pass, if he pitched it to Jameis, had Jameis throw it to Kamara, I think I would have ripped the TV out of the wall. Like, I would not have been able to emotionally handle that.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, that's really all I got for you. I'm just not as doom and gloom as people are. Yeah, Donovan Smith played like Donovan Smith, but I think Brady will put a boot in his ass, and that'll be the end of that. And
if he doesn't, then that'll be the end of Donovan Smith.
For this team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Wes. I'm with you, Wes. Hey, man, thanks so much for your phone call. Let's talk to you again on the next week. All right, buddy?
Yeah, for sure, guys. Have a good night, man.
We'll do it.
Thanks, Wes.
Ren, we had a question in the chat wanting to call in
From Vegas. G Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
there
it
you
says
go.
that and I'm sure you want to talk about this. He can't call in. He's watching his 2 toddlers. I know what that's like. Wants to know what we think of Scotty Miller. Seems like he's in for a good season. His connection with Brady was on point. I think Scotty, I don't know what I want to say. He was super impressive. I think it's as advertised from this past offseason.
At least from training camp. At least the news, if the Donovan, as much as the Donovan Smith news was a letdown from what we heard in training camp,
right?
This was the exact opposite of all the connections that they've made and how good Scotty Miller's look. And I was shocked. I'm talking shocked when John Ledger, Pewter Report, put out his offensive weapon predictions. And he had Scotty Miller with like 33 receptions and like 361 yards. And I'm like, he's going to have that like
for the season?
Yeah.
For
the season.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, he's going to have that in 8 weeks. Like, a lot of, because it wasn't really well reported, but if you kind of pieced everything together, when the Bucs went over there and played like just one half of football over at Raymond James Stadium, Brady was like 15 for 18. He threw like 6 times to Scotty Miller.
Right.
So, it was nice to see that as advertised. It's good to see that Scotty Miller, I guess, is willing to stick his nose in there as much as like I thought he didn't last year. Would if he had to go in there and he was gonna take a hit, that he shied away from it. Right. I always pointed to the Dallas preseason game. And then the Rams game where he totally peeled off and like didn't even try to break up the interception, and Mike Evans had to come over and help him. But he's put on some weight, and by all accounts, people have said that his confidence grew. And I thought he looked great tonight. And I thought when we talked to Lars Anderson, who ghost or helped write.
He ghost wrote BA's book,
The Quarterback Whisperer. After we were off the air, he told us that there's this really fast guy that BA loves, and it was Scotty Miller. And this was before.
Really?
Yeah. And this was before the season. He's like, because he had Brown in Phoenix or Arizona, I should say. And he's like, this is the guy that BA really, really likes. And then Scotty Miller had the season he had, and it's like, oh, well. And then Tom Brady comes in and they have this instant chemistry, and now you're seeing it again. I thought Brady's deep ball was fantastic today. Putting it right on the money. Dare I say, even drawing 2 long pass interference calls, and then he hit Scotty Miller on a deep one twice. One was a pass interference. The guy locked his arm. The other one he caught. So Scotty Miller is as advertised coming out of training camp. And when we had our Bucs content creator draft, somebody picked Scotty Miller, and a couple of people poo-pooed it. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, this guy, he might not get a lot of touchdowns, but as far as receptions, like I'm not going to go as far as say he could lead the team in receptions, but like he's going to be top 3. Like, he might make the top 2. Like, he might be second on the team in receptions just because of the style that Brady likes to play. Scotty, he's there.
I'm putting into the chat right now the link for anybody who might want to go check out that particular
podcast.
That particular podcast.
There it is.
There it is, right there. You can go check that out.
Where you will not hear Lars Anderson say that.
Right. But if you guys do want to go back and check that out, this is a conversation we had with the guy that helped write BA's book. And, a lot of that book, and while I think that's important to the conversation right now, a lot of that book talks about what BA will do or what he says he's going to do this week, right? Like, you got to go see what you have the first week. Now It's about the corrections. That's where I am now, right?
Right.
An hour and a half after the game, I'm now all about the corrections and what's going to happen. And that's the thing I'm most excited about. And, there's going to be a lot of ass chewing this week, and there should be. And Donovan Smith, you guys, we're not going to hear the end of Donovan Smith all week long. And if he goes out and has a bad game, it's just going to double. And you know what? and I don't care if he's listening to this or not, he has earned every single comment that he gets. He has earned every single tag that he gets.
Unless except when they're personal.
Yeah. Don't threaten him. But when it's about his football, he has earned every single one that he gets.
Yeah.
He was bad. Just bad all game long. Had a couple of good, probably had more good plays than he did bad. But
no. He did his job more than he didn't.
Right.
But at that premium position, you can't they said that in the offseason. You can't have 5 plays where you just fall flat on your face at the left tackle position.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Right.
And you've done it for 6 years.
As a teacher, I can't take 30 kids on a field trip and come home with 29 of them. Well, I got most of them home.
Yeah,
but
there you
I can't
go.
do that. I've got to be 100%.
Was that a mostly peaceful protest?
Right. Exactly. So anyway, Ren, I think that's where we're going to go ahead and wrap this particular show up. Hey, guys, listen, coming up later this week, Ren and I are right back into it. We've got a fun guest this week. Should we tell him who it is or make him wait? What do you think?
Derek already announced it.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, our guest this week coming back to the show, back to the podcast, formerly of What the Buck, old school, Derek Fournier is going to be our guest this week. It's always great to get to talk Buccaneers football with Derek. And if you guys are new to Bucs podcasting, you don't know who this guy is, let me tell you something. You guys will want to subscribe. You're going to want to get it as soon as it drops because Derek is a fountain of knowledge, and he is always somebody you want to listen to whenever he talks.
And his podcast is still out there, even though he hasn't done many in the past 2 years. You can still type in What the Bucs, the podcast app, What the Buck, at the podcast app that you have, and they'll be there, and you can go back and listen and sort of get a vibe for what he is. But he's very smart, and he's very articulate, and he's very knowledgeable about football. And you put those 3 things together, it's just fun to listen to him talk and talk with him about ball. Yeah. And the Bucs is his favorite team and have been since he's a 76er, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got that coming up this week. And then, hey, listen, the next show we have is, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it, but listen, you guys send in your emails. Send in your emails. Send in your Apple Podcast reviews of the show. We'll get to those on an upcoming show. And then Friday night, guys, we start the whole process over again with Buck in the News for week 2, where we're going to talk about everything that happened over the course of the week. We'll talk about the roster moves as we look forward to the Carolina Panthers game. So lots and lots of stuff coming here out of the PewterCast. Ren, why don't you tell the folks where they can get in touch with you if they want to talk with you about anything having to do with this game or, I guess, really anything else?
Best place to find me is on Twitter at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you don't want to put your comment or thought out on blast, feel free to slide into my DMs on Twitter, and I will talk Buccaneers football or mostly anything else there with you as well.
And if you guys want to get in touch with me, you can find me at Brent Allen Live across all the social medias. And the show is at the PewterCast.live out there on the web. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/thepewtercast, facebook.com/thepewtercast, Twitter at the PewterCast, Instagram. We're all over, guys. It's basically at the PewterCast everywhere. You guys make sure you go over and do that. Send us emails, thepewtercast@gmail.com, Apple Podcast reviews. We'll get to you guys then. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us in the chat, making this one of the best shows that we've ever had, one of the largest attended shows we've ever had. So you guys are awesome. We'll talk to you guys later this week. And until then, go Bucs.